Fear and Loathing in New Jerusalem starts out with Jews being persecuted. Imagine these people are your neighbors.
Yep.
And he brings you through this horrific scenario that absolutely did happen to some of the people there.
And you don't, it's cool the way I mean, I don't spoiler alert or whatever, it's just the beginning, but it's so good. But like, you almost don't know what he's talking about at first. You're like, is this a Palestinian getting fucked over? Is this, because the story's about, going in, this is going to be about the creation of the state of Israel or whatever. But then you realize like, oh no, this is a Jew in Eastern Europe going through a pogrom. And I will say this, right, as somebody who is fairly well read on the subject compared to like the layman, not compared to Darryl Cooper. There's levels to this shit. It's like, I used to think Rich Franklin was the best striker in the world, and then Anderson Silva fought him, and you're like, oh, okay, he is not. By the way, Rich Franklin was great, but Anderson Silva was amazing. But listening to that series, it made me much more sympathetic to the Israelis, if I'm being honest. And I know I've heard that from other people too. But it does, because Darryl insists on doing that. Like, look, it's real, it's easy. Now, I'm not saying this is an excuse for anything. Like, the Nakba in 1947, 1948 is horrible. It was a giant ethnic cleansing campaign, you know? Okay, but if you do put this into context, like the year's 1947. Okay, first of all, just think about like even the attitudes of 1947 that of, like, just in terms of racism and things like that, like very different attitudes in 1947. Also, you're 2 years removed from the end of World War II, where the, quote, good guys in the story or the winners in the story are like Truman, who just firebombed Tokyo, dropped 2 nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the bombing of Dresden, the bombing of Berlin. Joseph Stalin is in the process, as this is happening, of ethnically cleansing millions of ethnic Germans all throughout Eastern Europe. This is only a couple years after Stalin's army raped their way through Europe. You know what I mean? And then, of course, there's the atrocities of the Nazis, and you're the Jewish people who just went through this Holocaust. And all of this is in the background, and you're going to say, you're telling me we can't move a few 100,000 people off their land to create our new state? Like, who's going to fucking morally lecture us about doing this little thing here? And like, I'm not saying any of that excuses it. And it wasn't the Palestinians' fault that any of that happened. And so like it is worthwhile. Like, that's what doing history should be, right? Yes. It should be like understanding that these were real human beings. These aren't cartoon monsters.